Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome to the Aviva Stadium in Dublin for this first game in the Autumn Nations Cup, round one, game one between Ireland and Wales. Well, with no Southern Hemisphere sides travelling up north this November, we have a new competition, and it's a competition that will bring games over the next 4 weekends, and we look forward to hosting here at the Aviva Stadium and also in the UK, in Scotland, in Wales, in France as well, and so much rugby to look forward to over the coming weeks. There are the pools: England, Georgia, Ireland and Wales in Pool A, France, Fiji, Italy and Scotland in Group or Pool B. Alongside me, Tom Shanklin, 70 times capped for Wales. Tom, terrific competition to look forward to, albeit with a bit of a wobbly start, losing France and Fiji on Sunday due to COVID-19.
Yeah, very disappointing not to see Fiji play some real box office players there. But it is exciting competition. Every point will count. It's a simple format, 3 games, and then you have the final 4th game. Big opportunity for some teams to carry on with a bit of form, and also for a few teams just to try and find some form.
Yeah, and you look at the potential winners and losers, and you look at England and France in particular, and you feel they have a free hand to try some things. For Ireland and Wales tonight and over this competition, probably not as straightforward. Wales in a little bit of turmoil. They've lost the last 5 on the bounce. Ireland, having come off the defeat of France, or having been defeated by France in the Six Nations, will want to bounce back as Wales make their way out to the Aviva Stadium. It's such an eerie feeling in this magnificent stadium to hear no crowd yet again welcome this Welsh side, a Welsh side led by Alan Wynne-Jones, winning his 150th international cap, his 141st for Wales, plus 9 for the Lions. What a remarkable career the man has had.
Unbelievable what he's done. You know, the drive to get back every single week and play. What a leader as well. Huge leader, so important in the team. Makes the right decisions, leads by example. You know, I cannot speak highly enough of the man. And
another man making a big milestone is the prop forward who led the team out there, Tom Francis, winning his 50th international cap. Actually made his debut against Ireland back in August 2015, so certain symmetry that he wins his 50th cap against Ireland this afternoon or this evening.
Yeah, it's just a shame, isn't it, that, you know, you can't have your friends and your family here to support you. I mean, it is a little bit eerie here at the Aviva Stadium, but it's amazing that we are watching live sport at the moment.
And Wales will have some players, well, a player in particular on the bench, Callum Sheedy, who will potentially win his first international cap. Ireland have a couple that will definitely win their first international cap, and a lot of focus will be on Andy Farrell's selection of James Lowe, who qualifies under the residency rule, and he will win his first international cap, and he is in the team jogging out to the Aviva Stadium, led by Ireland's captain Jonathan Sexton. A milestone for him as well, his 100th international cap, 94 for Ireland, 6 for the Lions. A nice round 100 for him as well. He's been a terrific servant for Irish rugby.
Yeah, brilliant. What a player. Looking forward to seeing that man there as well in shot. James Lowe, fantastic for Leinster, and you just know that he is good enough for this level. Bit of pressure on Wayne Pivac and his team today. You know, for me, they need to start big. They need to get themselves into this game very quickly.
Well, the players lining out in front of us. Rowan Kelleher there, winning just his 4th international cap, the 22-year-old Leinster hooker. As we will pause in a moment for the Rugby Against Racism statement from the players, from the unions on that particular issue. Worth noting that Ireland have also had to make a couple of late changes. More on that in a couple of minutes. Thibaut Keenan coming in at fullback, or moving to fullback, with Jacob Stockdale not able to start, and in the second row, Quinn Roux in.
And now please stand for the anthems.
time for the anthems. No matter how many times we do it, I don't think we'll get used to the lack of crowd in the stadium to greet the anthems, but nonetheless, enormous occasion for all these players, but some particularly so. Change in the second row, you'll see it there. Number 4, Quinn Rue in, Ian Henderson out. The reason given as a medical reason, but definitively not COVID-19, we're told. He's alongside James Ryan on the second row. Jamison Gibson Park, big day for him, starting his first international on the day of his third international cap. Hugo Keenan moves to full-back from the wing where he was selected because Jacob Stockdale has a calf injury. Andrew Conway comes straight into the team, and there is the Irish substitutes bench. Byrne onto that, Tyke Byrne to replace Roux, who goes into the starting 15. Rhys Carré, Ryan Elias, Tom Francis in that front row for Wales. A lot will be expected from them, not alone in the set piece, but you think also in terms of carrying for Wales. Gareth Davis and Dan Biggar, the half-backs, Watkin and Davis, the midfield partnership. Halfpenny, Adams and Williams are a really, really exciting back three with ball in hand. The question is, will they get enough of it this evening? And there is the bench that Wayne Pivac has selected. George North jumps off the page, as does that young man Callum Sheedy. The referee this evening, Mathieu Reynal of France, Pascal Gauzer and Alex Ries of France run the lines, and the very experienced Romain Poit is the television match official. And so we are just about set to go. It will be the 131st international between these sides. Ireland at 154, Wales 69. There have been 7 draws. What awaits us on a weekend that will also see Italy against Scotland, England against Georgia. It's the first game of the Autumn Nations Cup.
Okay, fine.
And it's Wales who will get us underway. So much for both sides on the evening in terms of building in this Autumn Nations Cup, and Jamison Gibson Park will field the ball and send it high. Halfpenny takes it well, and James Lowe on debut makes his first contribution. Puts his man to ground, but it's there for Davis. And then Elias is asked to carry, but runs into a strong first line of defence for Ireland. Faletau protects the ball. A lot expected of Felipe Faletau today. He needs a big game, you feel. Davis with the kick, and Lowe comes forward, and his first 2 contributions for Ireland are significant and steady. No nerves apparent, although they must be there, and Wales have done a really good job at the first breakdown.
Breakdown was a massive issue from a couple of weeks ago against Scotland. Nice couple of touches from James Lowe there. It's important really to get in the game early, especially on your first cap. Looked assured in the air, very good carry, but a nice steal in the breakdown.
We talked before this game off air about what Wales needed to do, and your big concern is their ball carrying.
Yeah, the ball carrying has been an issue about getting over the gain line. Just the contact area as a whole, the contact area when you're carrying, and the contact area when you're defending, you're not winning as many aggressive tackles. But that man there, Shane Lewis-Hughes, you can see him with the turnover. He's been in fantastic form for the Cardiff Blues, rewarded again for his performance 2 weeks ago with his second cap. He's one for the future. You know, watch out for that name.
Not particularly well controlled at the line-out, but back on the Welsh side, and Liam Williams, what an attacking threat he is, but he's gobbled up by the Irish defence on that occasion. Faletau, and then it's Davis and to the back line, and Biggar. A little bit static. Wales didn't come at it with any depth, and as a result Ireland shuffle across and are defensively, well, that was an easy set for them.
It was, but they had an overlap there. They just had a little bit flat in attack.
On the line out, arms down.
No one was really hitting the line hard out there, and it was fairly easy in the end for Ireland just to drift off. But you have to look at it, you know, you don't get many opportunities in international rugby, and they looked like they had a 2-man overlap at one stage there. And poor execution.
The voice of Tom Shanklin, 70 times cap for Wales. And that is Peter O'Mahony winning the ball for Ireland in the line-out. The throw from Ronan Kelleher, the
stay
Leinster
back
hooker, and that's the Leinster scrum half, Jamison Gibson Park, who fires it downfield, and Biggar thought about going wide and then slipped back inside and finds Ryan Elias there for Davis, and now Justin Tupperk back into the side. The only change from the side that was beaten by Scotland in the final Six Nations match of the truncated season. Faletau, was quick work by Cian Healy to get there, but it was a free play, and we'll come back.
No.
Yeah, and the referee, well, for a moment, thought they could get on with it.
For what?
Initially, Robbie Henshaw did a really good job at slowing that ball down. Justin Tipuric.
Just reckless.
penalty was given away
Number 10, Green.
by Johnny
Holding back.
Sexton there. Ends up going too high, gets
Around the
Ryan
neck,
Elias
10 Green.
around the neck. You know, if you're in that situation, you've got to let go straight away. Interesting to see what Wales do here. Does Lee Halfpenny have the range?
Oh, he has the range, surely. It's perfect. We should mention the conditions. Perfectly still night.
Here is the mark.
And there's been no rain in Dublin today, so it's as good as it's going to get in this part of the world in November. But your question about whether they just didn't fancy it, maybe they fancied the territory and the opportunity to attack from inside the Irish 22.
Yeah, but you know, with Wales at the moment, the performance is the main thing. The performance and a win, desperate for a win. Lost 7 out of the last 8 matches. Be low on confidence, and
Well,
I just sort of think, you know, when you get a shot in range, a penalty, you take it really. You know, lineup has been good for them, but they're up against a pretty decent defence.
And they've made an absolute haze of that one. And whatever the thought process was, it's gone now, and Ireland complete the job with the penalty, and that will be frustrating for the players and for the coaching box. Wayne Pivac will be unimpressed, and there's a little bit of afters. Peter O'Mahony, Alan Wynne-Jones in there. They finished it. I'm not sure they started it.
Some great eyes and faces there, aren't there? Oh, look at that.
stop.
They'll know each other pretty well from the Lions tour, but Alan Wynne-Jones doesn't look happy about something there.
And of course, 2 Lions test captain, so O'Mahony was the captain in the first test in the last Lions tour. And Alan Wynne-Jones, well, believe it or not,
guys,
it is his 15th test against
When the
Ireland.
whistle is finished, okay? That's fine. So now, 10 meters, 10 meters.
Well, everybody's calmed down, and we'll go back to where we started, which is the penalty for Ireland. Sexton punches down field, and here's
On the line.
where that all started. It was from the mess of a line out where Elias didn't get anywhere near Lewis Hughes. Didn't quite see what happened thereafter. Gibson Park. And in midfield is the sizable frame of Farrell. Gibson Park, quick ball, and that's good hands. And Sexton can see a little gap, and he accelerates into it, and Ireland have a chance here, and it goes to Lowe. I'm not sure he was expecting it. I think he thought it was going to go inside him first, and there's more afters. And Lowe is involved, and so too Liam Williams. And it's all bubbling up a little bit. They thought these ones mightn't matter in November. I think we have our answer.
Oh, there's tension. You can see it, you can feel it up here.
Option, scrum, or line
Ireland
up.
did really well there.
Okay.
Brilliant carry. I think it was by Chris Farrell. And then a lovely little interplay here. Sexton goes through, but it's a short ball, I think, to Henshaw. That's all he needs. He tried to throw a double miss and hit James Lowe.
The captains are going to get a talking to.
No, I will be very clear with you guys. That's the second scuffle.
Clear opportunity, wasn't it?
We cannot accept that, okay? So you have a word to your player, you have a word to your player, and that's the last one. Next time, 2 players off. Is that clear enough? Okay. Yeah. So have a word to them and have a word to them, please.
Here, there's a little bit of niggle there. You know, next little fracas, and there's going to be 2 players seeing a yellow card, 10 minutes. Didn't give him much hope really with that pass.
No, I think he thought it was going to go to Henshaw
it was the
inside
ball.
him.
That was the ball.
Time back on. Here is the mark.
A simple one. Yeah, that was a clear-cut try. Had that ball gone to hand, but really well created.
Yeah, it was Caelan Doris in the midfield with the pass, the number 8, who created the space, and Sexton exploited his first scrum of the evening.
Here we go, Potts.
Clutch!
Here we go, Potts. Here we go, Potts. PD, short side.
No.
And that's a danger for
I don't
Wales
want to
because
see you leaning on
Ireland
the
are really
opponent
good off
towards the
set piece,
shoulder.
off line-outs
No,
especially.
you keep the
Really
balance.
well created try. You're quite surprised actually how easily they broke that Welsh defensive line.
Well, it's probably a good time to point out that Wales lost their defensive coach in the last week. Byron Hayward parting company with Wayne Pivac's coaching staff, and Wales haven't appointed a new defensive coach. The current coaching group taking charge of the defensive duties, but it has been a problem for Wales.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see why.
But you lose Sean Edwards and you lose a huge amount of experience. First scrum comes to nothing other than a penalty, and there is a real niggle down there. You can feel it up here.
Good, and that's what you want. You know, it's
International
international rugby. It's two quality teams going against each other.
Don't overreact him.
Wales, looking to try and stop big, looking to try and find a bit of form. Struggled.
Okay, it's not fair. Next time I
over
will
the
have
last
the penalty kick.
year, really,
okay?
especially since Warren Gatland's departure. You know, they're trying to play in a different way. We can see that, but it's frustrating the players. It's frustrating management. It's just not clicking at the moment. You know, this is an area as well where Wales haven't been the greatest of recent times in the scrum. They've put a lot of pressure and win themselves a penalty. Give them a great opportunity now, 5 metres out.
Kelleher and Ireland go to their line out, and the same as Wales, but it's not straight. They butcher the opportunity, and you look at those, Tom, and you think of all the hours spent on the training pitch, and you get yourself into that position, and now both sides guilty. Making a hames of it.
Yeah, there's no pressure though, is there, in training? A lot of pressure now when it comes to game day. You know, this is a great competition. I think everyone's just so excited that we're able to have some live rugby during this autumn period.
Set!
And Ireland get the penalty. Again, brought down by Carey. It looks like the referee is signalling out. Rhys Carey.
So he's pulling down with the arm. You're not allowed to do that. You might see a better angle of it, but discipline has to be an area Wales need to look at as well. They have so many penalties against Scotland.
I need to have an elbow up. Okay, it's clearly down on the ground with elbow on the ground.
Carey's left elbow coming down.
Elbow up and he stays
high. It's on the far side.
First two engagements in the scrum advantage Ireland, and it is one of those areas when the referee seems to make a decision early, it's very hard to reverse his thought process on what he sees that's wrong with the scrums. So from Ireland's perspective, they'll be very happy with what Matthew Raynal has decided in those opening exchanges come scrum time. Heading towards 10 minutes and the first opportunity for Jonathan Sexton at goal. 842 international points, including 14 tries. And this his opening effort of this Autumn Nations Cup. On its way from Sexton, and up go the flags, and Ireland have the first points of the evening. They lead it by 3 points to 0.
Quality kick from an unbelievable player there, Johnny Sexton. First line out Ireland had in Wales' half. They've caused problems. Didn't quite get the try they wanted, but they'll be happy with 3 points.
Bigger gets Wales underway once more. Taken by Robbie Henshaw. Falatau arrived well and made a good tackle to put Ireland centre down. And Gibson Park, though, has sight of the ball. Liam Williams thinking about trying to keep this one in, and does. And the penalty at the breakdown. And it's Ireland again.
You see Cian Healy getting off the ground there, so quick on to Liam Williams.
There is a jackler in position.
And that ball was going out.
And the ball carrier move on the ground.
Is on the touchline, he jumps to catch it infield. Good follow-up tackle by James. And look at Cian Healy straight in there.
Yeah, and crucially not involved in the tackle, so he could go straight in.
Yeah, so many times now, if you're the second person to tackle, there has to be a clear release. You have to show the referee that you let him go. And you're right, Riley wasn't part of the tackle, so fired in straight away. Frustrating.
Here's the mark.
Pivac there. He's probably looking at whether Cian Healy was supporting his own weight or not.
For Penrose and Gibson Park to clear this quickly off the line, but He was bypassed. There's a little bit of afters between him and James Lowe. He'll follow the ball. Gibson Park, Sexton, and then back inside comes Henshaw. He's eventually put down by Lewis Hughes, but only after he'd made a couple of yards. Cian Healy runs into a big tackle from Rhys Carey, which is what Wales required. Farrell put to ground. Rowland's the second row, part of the tackling squad. Watkin tries to get his hands on the ball, but it's there for Gibson Park and Quinru again. Scrum half can see it. Quick ball for Ireland. Farrell and Wales are being asked to do a lot of defensive work, and it's coming off. Quick ball, wave after wave. Caelan Doris, Falatau meets him, but Doris crashes over that gain line. Up quickly come Wales. Slipped back inside from Sexton to Porter. Gibson Park is keeping the ball alive. Sexton almost away. Low, and O'Mahony picks and goes and runs into Francis. Wales need to find a way of slowing this down a little. Just can't get their hands on the ball. Ireland executing through the phases really well. And close to the line now. Round the corner they go. Gibson Park has a little look to see what's on. Cian Healy will pick and go. And there's some meat behind him, but he can't get there.
Who's that?
Again, Ireland knocking at the door. Gibson Park barks out the orders. Wales tackle after tackle. It's taking its toll. Ireland inching ever closer. Referee has a long look at it and awards Wales the penalty, and that is reward for really hard-working defence.
Huge effort from Wales there. Under a lot of pressure from Ireland.
No, that's fine, thank you.
Again, Ireland look really dangerous off the line-up, running the same phase play as they did a couple of minutes before. Been impressed so far again with Chris Farrell getting over the gain line. Some big carries from Doris.
And it's the quickness of the ball, Tom, at the breakdown.
Yeah, huge. And when you're playing with quick ball like that, it allows you to get into those wider channels. It allows you to play with tempo. As you look, so close from James Ryan there.
Right here, please. 5 feet.
Here's Ryan Elias. Wales need to win their own ball. They just can't get their hands on it at the moment. That was really well taken. I think it was O'Mahony. We'll double check that. Van der Fleer. And the referee called maul on that. Doesn't matter one way or the other. Van der Fleer found a way of getting the ball back. Sexton from a really fast onrushing Welsh defence, but it was bypassed. The first two players just taken out of the game by the pass, and then it's knocked forward by James Ryan, and then there's the infringement of holding on the ground, so the penalty rather than the scrum for the knock forward.
Wales doing very well with the breakdown on the ground. Another turnover. Did look like for a second it was on down the left-hand channel there when they flashed back. You could see Dan Biggar and Gareth Davis shooting out the line there with a little bit of line speed, trying to put pressure onto Johnny Sexton.
Here we go.
His quick hands got him out of trouble. He hit Henshaw. But that's been an issue, you know, with Wales, with their blitz defence. You know, it's about blitzing at the right time in the right areas. You know, having a plan behind it. As you can see, Peter O'Mahony just stealing Wales' lineouts, and this is where it was potentially on. James Ryan just takes his eyes off the ball for a second.
3 lost lineouts for Wales in the opening 15 minutes. Crucially, they have one deep inside Irish territory. Need to and do secure possession. Davis in midfield.
No assist!
Quality.
But no, quality, but
never
illegal.
Release. No, you never release. You go on the ground with him, never release, and stay with hand on the ball and contest.
It looked like it was perfect turnover from Robbie Henshaw then, but
Post.
Matthew Rynell says there was no clear release. Jonathan Davis just trying to run into a brick wall, and you know, you think, why is he doing that? Well, he's doing that to set up a phase, second or third phase, to really attack and to strike. You know, not everything is looking to strike off first phase now. You know, you look to do it 3 or 4 phases down the line.
In position, okay, the clean out is not efficient. He leaves the ball and never release. That's my view, Johnny. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
This side of the rope we have to rest first.
Yeah? Okay, thanks.
Jonathan Sexton and the referee having a little chin wag as to why that penalty was awarded, and it gives Lee Halfpenny the opportunity to draw Wales level, which he does. And after what, 17 minutes, it's 3 points apiece, and Wales, you feel, having lost a number of line-outs, having been penalised at the scrum, having weathered Ireland's pace and accuracy inside the 22, will feel that they've weathered that storm, and 3-all is a pretty good position for them to be in.
Oh, they'll be happy with that. They'll settle them nicely. Been under the pump for the last 10 minutes, close to their line as well. Yeah, looking at that replay as well, you can see Robbie Henshaw. I mean, straight off it looked like a decent turnover, but there was no clear release. Good decision by Matthew Reinhold there.
Andrew Conway's done a great job of chasing down that kick and appearing as the lone green shirt amongst 3 Welsh players to tap it back on his team's side, but there's a bit of a scrap for it at the breakdown. It's claimed by Wales. Falatau, I think, the man to get there. Davis plays scrum half, and a lot of players out of position, but it's now with Watkin and Halfpenny, and outside him is Liam Williams. A little kick in behind Lowe. Williams goes after it, as does Van der Fleer, and it's bounced up kindly for James Lowe, who has his wing counterpart right beside him in Andrew Conway. Gibson Park, little show and go, puts the ball down and then picks it up again. Ireland have no scrum half, they need one, and Farrell will play scrum half and played it like a centre. Sorry, Tom. Fires it out, and it's there after a scrappy period for Ireland again. Kelleher runs into a good tackle from Watkin, who's been solid in defence on the occasions he's been asked, but again at the breakdown, Wales guilty of giving away the penalty. The referee is being consistent with what he's saying to both teams.
It's a tough one, that, you know, sometimes you just get stuck in the base of a ruck and a tackle, you know, just the way you fall. And unfortunately, that's just the way the game is ref now. Owen Watkin trying to get away, but you watch this in replay now, you watch, I'm not sure who it is from Ireland, just push the ball into Owen Watkin, you know, slightly, you know, just try and play the ref a little bit. This was the kick from Lee Halfpenny. Josh Van der Fleer did really well to get back, and good decision by James Lowe there, just to change the ball. But here it is, Owen Watkin makes a tackle, ball's there.
Kelleher trying to get it back onto the Irish side, but pushed it into Watkin, and that's no doubt what the referee saw.
Yeah, playing it well there.
Clean line-out ball for Ireland again. Van der Fleer pops it off, and it's back with Lowe, and Lowe off on one of those runs that we've seen so often for Leinster. On to Jonathan Sexton. Ireland again threaten the Welsh line. It's scramble defence for the men in red once more. Taken on by Caelan Doris, there for Gibson Park. Ireland have plenty of carriers, lots of width. Which will they go? Well, they'll go to a penalty. It was knocked forward, but the Welsh defence was offside before that knock forward, so a penalty to Ireland. But there is why so many Irish supporters have been dying to see James Lowe wearing that a number 11 shirt.
Having such an impact as well, dictating really this game from the wing, which is a difficult job to do. Threatening every time he has the ball in hand. But a cute play there from Ireland, putting it back inside. But it was like a back inside miss to James Lowe, who was hiding.
Elbow up.
And just walks through the attempted tackle of Liam Williams, which not many players do at all. Gets Ireland right on the front foot. Nice little offload as well, I think, to Johnny Sexton, who carried it forward.
That's fine, good. Elbow up, okay? Long bind.
Joining us late, James Lowe making his debut for Ireland tonight. Born in New Zealand, of course, qualifies under the residency rule, played for the Chiefs and for the New Zealand Maori indeed, but now with Ireland, the age of 28, and he's had a huge impact on the club game here.
You've got to be thinking, just get the ball into his hands right now off the back of the scrum as quickly as you can. That's the form he's in.
Gibson Park with the feed, and the front rows go down, but the referee wants this played out. Yeah, well, he did want it played out, but we'll go back. I think that was a simple slip.
Yeah.
You can't see it right now on this tight angle, but James Lowe and Johnny Sexton right behind that scrum. Always a difficult place to defend.
Don't be
centre
too
field really,
overextended,
the big
okay? You and you.
just to offset really, but a big blind side.
Yeah, we will have a gap. Bigger
Who's
gap.
got to float behind.
There is
Difficult to
a
get
mark.
off your line quickly.
Some crouch.
You know how good Ireland are off
No
set piece.
pre-engage, guys, okay?
Very precise with their angles, with their decoys, with their decision making. That's where Johnny Sexton is so key for Ireland. 9 times out of 10 makes the right decision, makes the right pass. If it's not on, carries it in himself. He's so cool under pressure.
Doris again controlling it at the back and Gibson Park off a scrappy ball in the end. Did he knock it forward? Looked like he might have there, but the officiating party are happy to let play continue. Andrew Porter will pick and pass, and it's Cian Healy who's on his shoulder, James Ryan behind him. 5 metres out and Wales being asked to defend once more. Van der Fleer put down by Carr. Doris runs into Francis and still gets a bit of momentum. Quinn Roux is there and over, and the referee's seen it, and Ireland have the first try of the evening. Quinn Roux over for his 3rd international try. Started the day on the substitutes bench, moved into the starting 15, and now has the first try of the evening.
Ireland had to do it the hard way, didn't they? Off that messy scrum. But it's the carry before that from Doris which really makes the dent in the Welsh defence. Huge amount of pressure really on Doris today, because CJ Stander isn't playing. We know what a great carrier CJ Stander is. Doris, Ryan have to fill that void, but there's only so much pressure you can take. Wales been under the pump for a long time now. This is a scrum. It's disrupted their gap. Davis does well, and Jameson, Gibson Park just to slow it down. But then this is the carry, gets nice and low, wriggles out.
Nothing the Rollins could do.
No.
Sexton adds the additional 2. Ireland lead it by 10 points to 3. And if there's one significant statistic apart from the scoreboard in the opening 25 minutes, it's 71% possession for Ireland. Wales simply have not been able to get their hands on the ball enough.
That's been the story really for the last few games Wales have played. Just territory possession, really difficult, having to play off the back foot a lot of the time. Silly errors.
Back with Lowe.
He can do everything. He can do everything.
He's got a big left boot and he pounds it into touch up to the halfway line, and that's where Wales will start again.
He'll have a drop kick. A goal soon. You wait. What a start. What an impact he's made. And there you can see most of the game being played Wales' half.
Number, please.
Really, they need to sharpen up the line out.
7.
It's not functioned so well, and when your line out's not functioned well, you can't launch attacks.
They've had trouble at the set piece and continue to have trouble at the set piece, and if it keeps going that way, it's going to be a long evening for this Welsh side. Defensively, they've done all they can. Just too much ball for Ireland, and Davis goes back and makes a little bit of a mess of that one and puts Halfpenny under a lot of pressure. Henshaw and Gibson Park get there, and they do enough to mean that Wales have got to hold on the ground, and therefore Ireland get the penalty.
Massive amount of pressure again on Johnny Sexton there. Steps back inside, cool as you like, puts it through on a grubber. Decent kick as well. Jonathan Davis has to backpedal. Under pressure, Lee Halfpenny eventually has to tidy up. And you can see his left arm there. He's holding on.
Post.
Huge amount.
Ireland operating pretty big by their standards midfield, with Robbie Henshaw 6'4" and Chris Farrell at 6'3". Probably not all players being fit. Their starting midfield combination, that would be Bundy Aki and Gary Ringrose, but this brings another type of test for the opposition.
It brings a different test. They're real strike runners, real aggressive with their carries, especially Farrell. so far taking it up short, off line-outs, off scrums. We saw how good he is in the contact area then.
Some attention for Robbie Henshaw as Jonathan Sexton lines up this penalty. On its way, up go the flags, and Ireland stretch it out to a 10-point lead. It's Ireland 13, Wales 3. And there's the impact of James Lowe.
Look how low he goes. In tackles, rise the tackles. The footwork as well. That little offload to Johnny Sexton. Here's the try from Quinn-Roux. You know, momentum, everything at the moment. The energy level is all with Ireland.
It's very early in the game to be saying this, but you feel Wales really need to score next. Otherwise, this one could get away from them. Fair comment?
Yeah, no, fair comment. You know, I think we'd be happy with just any try at the moment from Wales.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking for a better performance. That was from what we saw against Scotland a couple of weeks ago, but at the moment they can't get themselves in because errors, penalties, line-outs. You know, all these things are counting. All these things count to building pressure on teams, and they're not able really to exert any pressure on Ireland at the moment because they can't get any quality possession.
Well, there's some concern down there for Jonathan Sexton, and Billy Burns, the Ulster outside half, is the man who will come in to replace Sexton, and he would win his first international cap. And this will be a big call for the coaching staff with a packed schedule over the next couple of weeks. If Sexton, they feel, isn't 100%, he's so pivotal to what Ireland want to do. And then there's also the opportunity to blood a new man, and Jonathan Sexton's face tells you, I think, everything you need to know.
Yeah, you can see straight away, can't you? There's obviously a little twinge there in the hamstring. He's not happy one bit.
George, who is the captain
Shame.
now?
He had great opening 28 minutes.
Right, Jerry.
You know, he's their leader. Big pressure now with Billy Burns coming on. You know, the Welsh team should be rubbing their hands together at the prospect of
Captain
trying to
number 5,
target Billy Burns
right?
in attack.
George, captain is number 5. Number 5.
You can see him there hobbling a little bit
after that penalty.
You're captain now.
Sexton makes way.
Here is the mark, guys.
Disappointment
Turn back one.
will be replaced by the euphoria. It's got to be. You must remember the day you made your first cap, Tom.
Yeah, no, it was amazing experience, and love watching Billy Burns, you know, across in England, over here now at Ulster. You know, ball in hand, he can be a magician sometimes as well.
Qualified to play for Ireland through his grandparents, his grandfather to be more precise. And interestingly, with Ireland seemingly dominant in that scrum,
Number 3, cranking.
referee singles out Andrew Porter, scrummaging illegally, and the penalty is to Wales.
A lot of chat about Andrew Porter, you know, at the moment. The modern day prop has everything, you know, more than just scrummaging, carrying, breakdown.
Okay, post.
You know, looks a wonderful prospect, but yeah, good decision from Wales to go for points. They turned it down at the halfway line early on in this game.
Clear cranking.
And went for the line out, which they lost.
So keep a long bind.
They need to get themselves back into this game. Sure, if we have a look at the scrum now.
Let's see if we can see.
You can see Andrew Porter there with a black tape round his wrist.
And the call clearly came from the assistant referee. And Wales, well, they simply need this.
Oh, it's huge. It's a huge chance for Wales to claw back some points. You know, they don't look like anywhere near scoring. Beating that Irish defence. You know, if this is the only way they can score points, they've got to take it right now.
So then, Lee Halfpenny, 753 international points coming in to tonight. He's already got 3. They were straightforward. And it's another 3. That's a good kick from the Welsh full-back, and his side needed him to deliver, and he has. After half an hour, Ireland lead it by 13 points to 6.
Needed massively to bring Wales back into this game. It's important now they switch on off this kick. To start with, try and take it cleanly, clear their lines with a good kick chase, and try and get a bit of territory back. It's all been Ireland so far.
It'll be really interesting to see. Burns goes now as Falatau makes ground and then runs into O'Mahony and Henshaw and is sent back to where he came from. Big issue for Ireland in the long term, or maybe even in the medium term, is who takes over from Sexton, who's 35 years of age now. Burns, the latest to be given his opportunity. Jack Carty's had a run the Connacht outside half. And Spurn from Leinster. We'll see how Burns goes. James Lowe seems to be enjoying himself out there. Gibson Park. That's good work again by Doris in midfield. Burns up quickly comes that Welsh defence once more. Alan Wheeler-Jones helps to make the tackle, and the ball is back on the Irish side. Hugo Keenan, we haven't seen much of him with ball in hand, but he releases Lowe, who in turn gets the ball to O'Mahony, and Keenan, well, there's a knock forward, so we'll come back.
Again, wide channel. Ireland looking threatening. Perfect pass, the time of the pass from James Lowe. Doesn't give it too early, not too late.
Here is the mark.
Yeah.
Just loses it in contact, doesn't he?
Well, Josh Adams, I think, targeted the ball there.
Come on, let's go.
You could see him reaching out with it in his left hand, and did enough to stop O'Mahony from going to ground cleanly.
That was lucky as well, because Hugo Keenan sniped round the blind there. Again, Wales been cut through the middle, been cut out wide at the moment.
Crutch!
Gareth Davies, you can see scrum off there. He's putting a lot of pressure, coming off his line quick.
Set!
Wales are leaking around the edges.
Ireland have the pressure on that scrum again. And up come the front rows, and the referee is going to say, "We'll go again, boys."
It's not functioning one way or another for either team. Scrum at the moment.
Boss.
Can't really get a solid platform.
Here is a mark.
Both teams conceding penalties in this area.
Okay.
I mean, if anything, slows the game down. Will help Wales a little bit. Help them try and take the sting out of this Irish attack. Slow the game down a little bit to their pace.
Just to remind you that England and Georgia make up the rest of this pool, and Ireland go to England next week, while Wales host Georgia. Those two teams play tomorrow. That is a big scrum from Ireland, huge scrum. Gibson Park to Burns, and then Farrell finds himself in acres of space, and Davis stood off him, and he said, "Okay, I'll take that and a little bit more." Burns back inside the Henshaw. Keenan goes after the ball, makes sure it gets to Gibson Park. O'Mahony has been everywhere in this first half. Carries, and now it's Porter's turn, and Alan Wheeler-Jones tries to get in and get a big hand on the ball, but he can't really slow it down. Ryan, Gibson Park, Farrell, Wales throw bodies into the breakdown, but it's still there for the green shirts. And out there is Conway, and he tries to slip a pass back inside, but he can't find a way, and Davis got his body in the way, and it'll be a penalty to Ireland. Back on the 5-metre line in front of the posts. Let's hear what the referee's going to say.
Offside, okay? Yeah, from Dirk here. Here, offside. 2 penalty kick against him in scrum, 1 on offsides, okay? So now it's finished for me.
Rhys Carré offside.
This was a monster scrum.
Clear offside
by Ireland. And the speed of the ball came out so quick. Again, you had Chris Farrell.
Post.
Good ball from Henshaw to him. Nice depth. nothing on, tuck it, straight into Jonathan Davis, and gets Ireland again on front foot ball.
And what you'd say about that is, because the ball was turned over in the scrum, the Welsh defensive line was not in its normal defensive position, so it just left that space for Ireland's centres to attack, and Farrell really made ground.
Yeah, well, you had Liam Williams, who was right on the touchline here, probably looking for a crossfield kick. Has to adjust really quickly.
First international kick at goal is successful for Billy Burns as Sexton looks on, and Ireland are back out to 10 points. They lead it by 16 points to 6.
There it is after this carry. It's just quick ball, non-stop for Ireland, making good decisions. Back inside.
Taken well by Henshaw.
Away, tackler.
And Gibson Park will hoist it up in the air once more. Halfpenny's got to adjust, and he got there, but he wasn't able
Number 9.
to win the ball. Penalty against
9 in front.
Gareth Davis in
Change his
front
line.
of the ball. And now Peter O'Mahony has taken a bang.
Huh? Time off.
So look, you can see Gareth Davis there floating around.
And he wasn't retreating. It seems, I've got to say, harsh.
I think that is harsh.
Yeah,
That's a harsh penalty. It looked harsh.
Well, let's put it that way. You could see that 8 times in a game and not see it penalised.
Yeah.
Yeah. 96 tackles made by Wales to Ireland's 21.
But it's the amount of energy it takes out of you as well. Making 96 tackles. That's nearly 70 more.
Ooh, hyperextension from O'Mahony, sorry.
Let's hope he's okay. You can see him there, just fiddling with his knee.
Ireland have 2 options from the bench to replace Peter O'Mahony. Tadhg called into the squad this evening when the changes had to be made. He can play in either the second row or in the back row, and Will Connors is there as well.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to lose him. So valuable in the line-out. Great carrier. Just an old-fashioned number 6.
What might be described as having a bit of the dog about him.
Yeah, 100%.
Here. Yeah.
See a shot there, Billy Burns. Massive chance for him. Quite a lot of pressure on him as well. He's got to lead this team from number 10, being his first cap as well.
Absolutely, and from a long way out, he might have thought he'd get the final 15 or 20. Here he is.
Outside, advantage.
And that's a lovely pass out to Lowe, who readjusted and then flings it back inside to keep the ball alive. Here's Farrell. He's had an impact carrying, hasn't he, for Ireland in this first half. Doris likewise. And Wales again struggling just to get their hands on it. Here's Conway, gaps open up in front of him. Alwyn Jones and Talupe Falatau close the door. Kelleher runs into a couple of Welsh tacklers. It's relentless pressure though. Conway, Keenan steps back inside. Adams makes the tackle. No advantage coming, and we're coming back for another penalty. And the longer this goes on, and the more tackles that Wales have to make, the more the gaps are going to appear purely from fatigue.
Yeah, it's so much harder defending for large periods than it is attacking.
But
at some stage as well, I think Matthew Reynard's going to have to look at giving a yellow card. A lot of infringements by Wales. But the Ireland attack is looking slick. You can see the Welsh trying to get off the line quick, but when they do, there's holes either side. And you've got Billy Burns either putting it inside, putting it outside. You've got 3 or 4 runners to pick from. The speed of ball is quick. This is a quality little interplay here, a little bit of face play. Decent ball as well, the bounce pass, really difficult to defend. The strength by Lowe as well, just to fend off Lee Halfpenny and keep the ball alive.
Kelleher and the Irish line-out. They've been here before and misfired. This time they secure possession through O'Mahony, and now it's at
One
the back
stop,
of the
one
ball,
stop.
and Ireland set themselves up. Kelleher has the ball, but Ireland not getting any real momentum. Gibson Park down the narrow side. Conway is there. It's a really good tackle from Josh Adams, and it had to be.
Oh, fantastic tackle. He's done a couple of them so far in this game. Really good defender, Josh Adams. You know, we've yet to see him shine in attack. A lot of defensive work so far.
Oh, Wales are all over the place at the line out. Where is it going? I think that might be a try. It was exactly what Wales didn't need it to be. Inaccurate.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, but I read.
They tried to take it quick, didn't they?
Yeah.
They tried to surprise Ireland.
The grounding is good
Throw a
for
quick
you. Or
one.
not?
No, for me it's not good.
But it
So it's
wasn't
not
accurate.
good. So
So maybe it's no point first.
I think the
Okay.
television match official, Roman,
So-
what's going to make a decision here.
Roman,
Firstly,
on
it
field
could have gone
decision
off
is
an
scrum
Irish
five,
hand forward
but we want
from
to
the
check the
line out,
grounding.
and then
Knock
the
on first
grounding.
on the line out, please. Potential knuckle on the line out, and secondly, we want to check the grounding, please.
Okay, we are checking first the ball in the air for potential knock-on, and then the grounding afterwards.
That's right.
The old French officiating party speaking in English. And I don't think there's a knock forward there, do you?
No, it doesn't look like one.
James Ryan
Nope.
does not get his
So-
hands on that ball.
Romain? Romain?
Now,
Romain? Did you have me,
but
Romain?
it's not grounded.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hold on. But it hasn't
From
gone
my view,
backwards,
from
though.
what I saw on the screen, on the line out, there is no knock-on. It's backwards by Welsh player. Is that right for you?
I agree.
So we move on the grounding. So can we check the grounding, please, the potential grounding? And from what I see on the screen now, he lost the control of the ball forward. So it will be a scrum 5 Wales ball. Are you happy with that?
Hold. I agree. 3 green has never the control on the ball.
Okay. So okay. No try.
So no try the decision,
Knock on
and it's
green,
on the grounding
scrum,
rather
Wales,
than anybody knocking
5.
the ball forward. But that ball
Matthew,
coming
1 minute.
from one of the significant problems that Wales have, which is the line-out is just not functioning.
It doesn't, and it isn't. And you saw, you know, when you get a good set piece, we saw in the World Cup, when you get a good set piece, a line out with scrum, makes such a huge difference. At the moment, Wales are living off scraps. The tempo is off.
Okay,
I mean,
substitution.
it's difficult when you've got players like James Ryan, Peter O'Mahony, who's wonderful in the
Okay,
air,
number 1.
and Quinn Root, you know, competing at nearly every line-out. Has to be slick. You know, you don't always want to be playing off front ball, but this is a big decision just before half-time as well.
Reece Carey's coming off, and Wyn Jones in his place, and I don't think that's an injury. That's a tactical substitution that Wayne Pivak has made, and you don't often see that in the first half of the game. And you can see the face, Reece Carey not at all happy with the decision, but it's been made, and it'll be interesting to see if Wyn Jones can help steady this Welsh scrum, which has also looked in a bit of
Okay.
trouble.
Whoa. Okay, guys. Boss collapsing together.
One thing
Here's
you
the
would say, Tom, I think, is for all of Ireland's possession and territory and slickness at times, they've still only
Elbow up
managed
and on
one
by.
try.
Yeah, thank you.
And with a 10-point advantage only, Wales will feel they're still very much in this game.
Oh, I think if they can get out of
Clutch.
trouble now, this will be the last
Bang!
phase of play at half-time. They'll actually
Set.
be quite happy going in only 10 points behind, having shown absolutely nothing really in attack, having defended for such large periods.
Okay, thank you.
The only thing really been killing them has been their discipline and error count. But in terms of attack, we've seen nothing from Wales so far.
No, we've seen nothing in terms of attack from Wales, and they've had real problems at the set piece, both scrum and in particular line-out. But having said that, they only trail by 10. A couple of penalties from Lee Halfpenny, the one try for Ireland for Quinn Root. And at half-time at the Aviva Stadium, it's Ireland in control, but still very much game on. Half-time, Ireland 16, Wales 6. second half of this first match in round 1 of the Autumn Nations Cup. Remember, tomorrow we've got Italy against Scotland and England against Georgia. Unfortunately, Sunday's game, in case you haven't heard, between France and Fiji has fallen to the COVID-19 pandemic. A number of the Fijian players tested positive, and that game is gone. And Ireland make their way out, and you have no doubt, Tom, that in the changing rooms at half-time there will have been one reasonably pleased coach in Andy Farrell, and Wayne Pivac will have been looking at his side going, you have got to do the basics.
Yeah, you look at tackle count, 113 tackles to Wales in that first half compared to 21 for Ireland, so you can see who's had the possession. Only 12 carries as well. They've got to get themselves back in, and that starts at set piece, it starts at scrum, and it starts at line out, and they've struggled with that so far in the first half, you know, but often, you know, a 10-minute break, a recoup can make a massive difference, and we wanted them to start big, and they did to a certain extent. You know, they really need to do something now just to try and get a grip of this game.
The referee, Matthew Reynal, just waiting for the signal to come. We're set to go. A couple of changes from the starting 15. One of those changes, of course, Billy Burns in for Jonathan Sexton at outside half for Ireland, and it is he who gets us out of the way at the start of the second half. And Hugo Keenan is back there at fullback, starting at fullback for the first time for Ireland. He's had a couple of caps on the wing. Jamison Gibson Park, and then Caelan Doris, who impressed you in that first half, Tom Shanklin.
Yeah, really good carrier, you know, taking over that void that CJ Standers left.
That's much better from Wales at the breakdown, and that's exactly the sort of thing that Wayne Pivac will have wanted to see in terms of just a commitment at the breakdown and a bit of ferocity about what Wales are doing.
Yeah, a bit of dog. Wales need to find it. You know, you can't do that at every single breakdown. You have to target, you have to be coy, you have to realise what breakdowns are there for the taking. You know, that was a decent counter ruck, and probably the first bit of territory we've seen for a long time. And you can see it here, dominant tackle there by Thomas Francis. Will Rowland's back on his feet with Francis, joined by Tipperick.
Green, gap please.
Really well.
And they got themselves into this position a couple of times in the first half, line out inside the Irish 22. But then the script got shredded.
Yeah, come here. Green, please. Move back. Thank you.
They win their own ball, which is something of an achievement based on the first half performance and the carries from Watkin. And that's better from Wales, and they get some forward momentum. And it's there for Faletau. Davis will dig it out. Tipperick plays outside half, and he should have made a better job of that pass, frankly. That was poor, and he's lucky, and his team are lucky that they held on to possession.
When we're diving on the ball, there is nothing.
Bit of a sloppy, don't necessarily associate poor passes with Justin Tipperick there. It's a shame really, because Wales got themselves set. You know, took it well off the line-up with Owen Watkin round the corner. Good pace. You can see Justin Tipperick there. The ball is Dan Bigger.
Long bind, elbow up.
Who's hiding right behind him.
Control the weight. Control the weight.
There. Probably Thomas Francis in his eye line as well. But they were set there. They were set for the attack.
On the positive side, 2 good carries. Moving forward momentum.
Crutch!
That will have settled them into the second half.
You look at the meters made by Wales so far, and all carries now from all players.
Yeah, that's right.
It's 22. And you look on the other side of the scale of Ireland, it's 311. It's a huge difference.
Okay.
You know, you can't expect to be competitive in games, win games.
Okay. Okay.
With that amount, so something has to change. You know, they've brought on Wyn Jones now, hopefully, to steady up the scrum. You know, it's huge, hugely key, important part of the game.
Bang!
To attack, to launch attacks.
Set!
Right in the middle of the pitch, which gives Wales attacking options off both sides. Slightly narrower on that far side, but they won't get there because there's a penalty at the scrum again. And it is the substitute, Wyn Jones, who's been singled out by the referee, and he's the one that's given away the penalty and the opportunity and the territory and the possession lost by Wales again.
Yeah, so it's not just Rhys Carey, but probably have a
Pulling
little
down
bit
the
pleased that it's not just him, you know, who's taken off, sat on the bench. It shows you again what a tough scrummager Andrew Porter is. You know, really rate him. Looks the part. You know, if you saw him walking towards you on the street, you'd cross the road straight away. He's got that mean look about him.
There he is, yeah. Andrew Porter, 29 international caps now, just 24 years old. Talupe Faletau. He's run up a couple of blind areas so far for Wales. Davis back for bigger.
Stop.
Gibson Park tried to get to him. Hugo Keenan's come from a long way away and claimed it. Davis makes the tackle. Did well to pull back to get himself into position, but then
Jackler in position.
Wales turn it over at the breakdown.
No, that's fine, guys. Thank you.
Goes one way and then the other. The referee's
here.
not going to allow that to happen quickly.
Thank you, guys.
We'll come back.
I think Danby would be glad that he wasn't allowed to play that, because it's a pretty ordinary kick. But this is a lineup. Wales end up winning. But Dan Biggar puts a kick up. So you have to say there was no chase there at all. Keenan's able to take it pretty quickly. I think it's Ryan Elias in there. Very sharply wins his team a turnover. But if you're kicking the ball up like that for an up and under, there needs to be an element of chasers. People who get off the air. You can't give teams free rein in the air now. We saw how good Hugo Keenan was in the air against Scotland. You know, that's why with the changes made, he was moved to 15, can really dominate that space. But you know, when you're putting up kicks like that, the chasers have to be there. They need to get off the ground. They need to put the defending player off somehow.
Yeah, well, particularly if you've only had 30% possession, if you're going to kick it away, you better be kicking it away for a reason. After all that, though, they have manufactured a penalty, albeit on the halfway line. And, well, we've seen Lee Halfpenny land them from here before, but it is a big ask. On its way, just gonna fall short. Had the accuracy, but not the distance.
Yeah, he's normally got that distance.
He does.
Possibly didn't strike it cleanly, got underneath it, maybe a little bit. You know, that would have made a huge difference. That would have turned the game into 7 points. Still, you know, Wales have had a bit more attacking opportunities this half so far.
Downfield it goes. Burns, and it's accepted by Davis and Biggar, and then Halfpenny is the one who will chase this. Lots of movement from Ireland, and in the end it's tapped back by Lee Halfpenny, and Wales have possession again, and it's taken on by Elias, and Davis will dig it out, and then it's Lewis Hughes. A precious little opportunity for Wales to carry ball. Maybe now they can go through some phases, and it's Rowlands who's put down by James Ryan, and Ireland put a couple of players in, but they do so illegally. Kelleher is pinged, but I think it was Doris who was off his feet, and the penalty goes to Wales again. Now, Lee Halfpenny, will you have another go?
You can sort of see a slight swing of momentum.
Off feet and take the 9 without the ball.
A lot of penalties being given away now at the breakdown by Ireland. Has got enough.
Oh, it's really well dealt with by Andrew Conway. And he gives Keenan the opportunity to run, but Dan Biggar should be furious with himself for not finding touch there and putting Wales into a position to score. That's another self-inflicted mistake. And it's there for Gibson Park. And then Burns, who will go cross field.
Thank you.
And there's a couple of Irish players out there, one of whom is Conway, and it's tapped back, but Wales are alive to it. I think it was Davis who took it, and he has it now. And Lowe will watch this one. And both teams guilty of making some bad mistakes. Lowe gives Keenan a run. Wales put a couple of bodies in, but It should still be there for Gibson Park. It's not, because Wales got a man over the ball, and legally Davis the last to get up. We'll see if it was he who managed to win the penalty, but Wales have a penalty. Scrappy from both sides, but again, after a bit of scrappiness, the advantage goes to Wales.
Well, the game's come alive a little bit now in this second half, but Wales, again, brilliant in that contact area. You've seen it a little bit in the first half. It's been evident in the second half. Now, as we have a look, very good follow-up.
That's fine.
Chased by Liam Williams, nails his man.
Yeah, that's okay, that's okay.
There you have it. It's John Davis and Shane Lewis-Hughes in there.
It is Lewis-Hughes, yeah.
Yeah.
The referee was happy that both were legal, and that's where the penalty came from. And Lee Halfpenny has the opportunity to reduce the deficit. This one is well within his range. Kick is good. Up go the flags. Lee Halfpenny adds another 3. It's 9 for him and 9 for Wales. Ireland lead it by 16 points to 9. And Wales have doubled their metres made in the last 6 minutes.
Yeah, they clawed themselves back into this game now. A one-point game, or a one-try game, a one-score game. You know, who would have thought that with the possession of the territory in that first half? Quality start from Wales in the second half.
Falatau.
Still inside.
Makes the tackle. Ireland just not hitting the same level of intensity and accuracy that they did for vast majority of that first half. Doris goes in after the ball but can't get his hands on it, and possession is secured by Wales. Falatau will protect his scrum half, Gareth Davis. And Doris across to make the charge down. Where's the ball off to? And he's done really well to keep it in. And Cian Healy's there. Healy is over. Can he dot it down? Falatau gets his body in the way, and I think he's held up. Well, that was terrific scramble defence by Falatau. The work in the charge down by Doris, and then had the ability to just scoop it back before he went out of play. Cian Healy, for a prop forward, took it in one movement, but just couldn't put the ball down over the line.
Exceptional play from Doris. You can see in that Ron Elias
number 4,
wasn't close enough.
Number 2 and number 3.
An unbelievable skill there to keep the ball in hand. Look at Falatau, Gareth Davis there. Equally as good to turn Cian Healy on his back and stop him from scoring.
Yeah, if the entry
Presence
point
of
is fine,
mind
that's
from
okay.
Doris there to flick that ball in.
Yeah, for me, yes.
Maybe a couple of changes for Wales. See, into the game is going to come Elliot Dee and Samson Lee, and also I think Jake Ball is making his way in there as well. So that means Tom Francis is gone, Ryan Elias is gone, and is it Rowland who's gone as well?
Yeah, it is, but Jake Ball coming on, he'll get a bit of a physical presence there. Loves hitting rucks, loves tackling. Bread and butter to him.
And that's Jake Ball, by the way, 47 international caps. He's very experienced.
Plenty of experience, and at the moment, you know, what's keeping Wales in the game is the breakdown. He's really good at poaching and turnover ball from Ireland's attack so far. It's been able to win them penalties, give them the territory, giving them 9 points so far from the boot of Lee Halfpenny. Huge moment now. You know, back on their 5-metre line where they ended the first half.
Set!
Yeah, in terms of the psychology of the game, this is a significant moment. Score here for Ireland, and they'll feel that they've got the measure of this Welsh side. Wales will want to hold out once more. Conway to Henshaw. Gibson Park digs it out. O'Mahony carries. Gibson Park once more. Farrell is launched at the line, but 3 Welsh shirts close the door. Are there gaps out wide where those Welsh shirts might have been? Keenan does really well to pick that one up. Not make a handling error. Gibson Park. Ireland 3 metres short. O'Mahony once more. Alan Wynne-Jones makes a terrific tackle. Quinn Roux tries score from the first half. Is launched at the line again. Gibson Park for Cian Healy. Bigger dives on him and tries to secure possession. But it's there for Ireland scrum half again. Or is it? It's not.
Back, Ireland, back.
It's not. It's been turned over. Bigger's intervention saves the day for Wales again, and Lowe will have to start from outside the 22. Ireland still have possession. Kelleher. Davis makes the tackle. Gibson Park almost caught in possession, and he's away. Jemison Gibson Park. Tackle is made by Liam Williams. Ireland need a scrum half, but Wales come away with it. But we're going to go back for a penalty. Offside against Wales in the midfield. Now that passage of play had a little bit of everything.
It did. Lovely play by Jemison Gibson Park. Hole just opens up for him. He's looking for support.
Which number? Yeah, do it.
Left and right. Doesn't have any. Takes into contact.
Okay, post.
But you find when you're under a lot of pressure like that, you're trying to come off your line. You can't get back. You can't set. That's when you're giving penalties away for being offside. Wales been guilty of that a few times during this game. Now he's shaking his head, walking off. It's not really gone for Gareth Davis. Such a attacking weapon in 9. We've rarely seen him. A lot of defensive duties today.
Cardiff Blues Lloyd Williams in. Scrum half, 30th international cap for him, and a straightforward penalty for Billy Burns in Ireland, and they get a 10-point lead once more, 19 points to 9. There's the break from Gibson Park, and Cian Healy. That's where the turnover from Bigger came.
He just falls wrong side, doesn't he? Dan Bigger lands on him, but it's all come from the ability not to be able to clear your lines from Gareth Davis, not to get your blockers in place.
Josh Adams navigated the green traffic to make the first hit on the pass to Caelan Doris. Gibson Park organises the protection and then steps away with the kick, and this one is going to be well into touch, and we'll restart with a throw into the line out for Wales. But better from Wales in this second half. There's more purpose about what they're doing, a little bit more accuracy, a little bit more, as you said, of aggression at that breakdown, and the introduction of ball in particular will try to build on that momentum.
There's certainly more zip in their attack. We've yet to really see them launch any clear attacks. There's not been many decoy runners. There's not been any clever little plays off face play, off set piece. You know they've got good attacking players on the field, but they've been starved of ball. It starts here, mind.
It does. Elliot D. When Wales win the ball at the line out, Jonathan Davis is lined up from a long way out, but the pass back inside was terrific, and Josh Adams has got it, and now Lee Halfpenny. Really good work from Davis to unlock Ireland's defence as it came up so quickly. Lloyd Williams digs it out, and Bigger has it, and the little pop to Wynne-Jones goes to ground. Williams. Ireland up quickly, stops Liam Williams from coming away with it. Williams will have to go in and secure possession. Lloyd Williams down the narrow side, little show, and then goes himself.
If you look at these breakdowns now, there's hardly any Irish people in there, so when Wales are getting the ball, there's just a wall of green. And one person on the floor there, that's it.
Wales look to go into the midfield and see if they can find a soft centre. This is Irish defence, but not so far. Davis. Tackle comes from Farrell. Williams will have the ball, but it's slow ball. And the last couple of carries, Wales haven't been able to punch any holes. Ireland's defence rock solid, as you say, just not committing to that breakdown. Jake Ball does get forward momentum and breaks that gain line. Watkin, Halfpenny, Adams, Tuturk is out on the wing, and he's put down by Hugo Keenan. This is so much better from Wales. Saw nothing like this in the first half. Through 12 phases, Williams sets Wales on their way once more.
Tackle,
There's
roll.
an accuracy to what they're doing. Falatau calls for it, gets it, but also put to ground by
No,
Callagher.
no, leave the ball. He don't leave the
Williams
ball.
down the narrower of the two sides. Josh Adams holds on,
Okay,
but
high
use that
tackle.
22 as your
Arms
marker.
around the neck.
15 phases. In the last 3 or 4, they just can't get across that gain line. They have got advantage, so a free play. And it's not going to work out, so we'll
back
come
here.
back for the penalty. But that, the best passage of cohesive play that Wales have put together in what? 58 minutes.
Easily
Hammer on the
best,
rack.
kept hold of the ball for 15 minutes, and look, they didn't go anywhere, but what they did do is they put Ireland under a lot of pressure. And James Ryan, I think that's what the penalty is for, the high tackle on Josh Adams, but you know, you want to see the ball in Josh Adams' hands. We saw it off set piece there, a lovely inside ball, which just hole opened up for Josh Adams to scream through.
Post.
But it was pleasing just to
Here
see
is
them
the
keep
mark,
hold of
yeah,
the ball. You know, yes, they weren't
Yeah.
breaking Ireland, but you've got
No.
to put teams under pressure. When
Yeah.
you put teams
Ball-
under pressure,
ball-
then they
ball
fall,
was
then the high
available.
tackles come, then the
You
offsides
don't-
come, then the penalties come. You
thanks.
can get yourself back into it. And that was a clear example of what was lacking in the first half.
Well, Wayne Pivac won't want to see this. Jonathan Davis, and again, well, Jonathan Sexton's face told the story in the first half, and that reaction when the medical staff touch his knee tells you everything you need to know. I don't think we're going to see any more of Davis in this game.
Here it is off the set piece. It's a lovely ball inside. That's where the hole opens up.
And the timing of the pass from Davis to Adams was
Okay, fine.
just immaculate.
Yeah, it was. It was Chris Farrell just shooting out the line, trying to take Jonathan Davis man and ball. When you do that,
Ah.
you've got to make sure your inside player and your outside player is with you.
Stop.
This one, well, we've come to expect perfection almost from Lee Halfpenny. And whatever about
Time
the
off.
one
Number.
on the halfway
Okay.
line, that's
Done.
one you
Okay.
expect him to get. His
Back
team
on.
needed him to get, and a rare mistake from the tee from the 92 capped
A ball,
Lee
please.
Halfpenny as Ireland make a change in the front row. Ed Byrne in to replace his Leinster counterpart. Byrne winning his 3rd international cap. And George North also into the game. 97 caps now for Wales, 3 caps for the Lions. That's 100 international tests for George North. Ball in hand, and the 28-year-old is into the game.
Yeah, this be George North's a man under a little bit of pressure at the moment. Not seen the best of him. We've got Lewis Ruzamic coming up behind him in the ranks. You know, Josh Adams, one of the first on the team sheet. And it's the first time we've seen George North under a bit of pressure. So good to see him back on the field at 13. I want to see ball in his hands though.
Falatau, Williams, Bigger, and North to Alan Jones. But it was forward. It looked like it might be, and the referee
Well,
confirms it.
I just think you got him on right. He's a phenomenal player. Great size, great pace. Just give him the ball. You know, it goes through Elliot D's hands there, I think, first. Takes up George's space. Just give George North the ball and let him
Here's the
run.
mark, guys.
So we'll run off you. You're 16 stone. You're one of the quickest players in the team.
Sorry.
Great feet.
Please.
You know, you
Come on, please.
you
Here is the
create
mark.
something. And it's just, I suppose that just sums up Wales at the moment. They're just not finding it. It's just not clicking for whatever reason.
And they are fine margins. You
Crutch!
know, this is a Welsh side that 15 months ago
Bang!
was ranked the #1 side in the world, and now
Set.
down to 8th in the world. But you know, that can get turned around really quickly, and well, there are building blocks in this second half for the performance
that?
tonight that weren't there in the first half,
Side-
and that's going to
side
please the
step and
coaching
collapse.
staff if nothing else.
No, that's fine. Lose head, side step, and collapse.
Ireland being pinged for crabbing across and collapsing there. Here we go, another chance. The last time Wales got this They went through 15 phases, won a penalty for it, didn't really go anywhere, but they're going to have to try
Green
and
on the
draw
line.
Ireland players in. You know, it's a numbers game. If you've got more players in attack in
Green
those
on the
rucks
line.
than the defensive team has, then wherever you look up, there's going to be more defenders than attackers. And you're trying to shorten teams' defences.
Elliot D goes towards the tail. It's there for the hooker, and then Lloyd Williams, and North gets the ball in midfield, but he's hit by Lowe. Halfpenny, little gap opens up for Lee Halfpenny, and he gets Wales into the Irish 22. Lloyd Williams sets Wales on their way again. Scrum half has brought a little bit of zip to what Wales are trying to do when the ball is in their hands, and it's just a bit of a struggle for Lewis Hughes to get to ground, and he can't, and spills the ball in the contact. The advantage there for Ireland. It'll be a scrum if they wish, but Burns will kick down the middle of the field, and the referee will say advantage is over, and Lee Halfpenny will start from back there. Lloyd Williams, Dan Bigger, George North looks to go outside Caelan Doris, but number 8 does a good job of putting him down. So much more possession for Wales in this second half.
Ball available.
What from here? Bigger has a little look. Halfpenny, they have men out wide. Just cannot get across that gain line. Talked about Wales needing their ball carriers to try and punch some holes, and they just haven't been able to do it in these passages of play where they have held onto the ball. So Bigger decides we'll try another option. North is after this one. Conway fielded that really well. Gibson Park.
Chris Farrell, really good blocking line there to stop George North from going up. Just shields the man Conway, be able to take it cleanly.
Move back, move back.
Burns is coming forward for this one, and Halfpenny felt like he was impeded as he tried to get there, and he looks a little groggy.
On the chasing
back.
player, is there something special, Roman?
Low, little chip over the top.
Thank you.
He's going after this, and Bigger is going to need to get on with it. James Lowe is going to get to him.
Away, move back.
Gets
Move
the
back.
kick away just in the nick of time. We're still in play though. Keenan, Quinn Roux, Josh van der Fleer, and he spills it. Good tackle from Lewis Hughes.
Touch first.
You get a sense now when you're looking at the Welsh team, fatigue is starting to hit in.
Touch.
That first half has really taken out of their legs. 113 tackles in that first half.
Okay. Time off.
Double the tackles now of Ireland. Ireland have made 70 tackles, Wales 144. And as you say, it just saps the energy, and there are a number of players on both sides, but predominantly on the Welsh side at the moment, receiving attention as Ireland look to make the changes into the game. Is going to come Dave Heffernan at hooker, which means Ronan Kelleher will go, number 18. Making his way out there is Finlay Beelum, the Connacht prop forward, which means Andrew Porter will go, and Tyke Byrne, who was a late call-up to the squad, the matchday squad that is in, and the try scorer from the first half, Quinn Roux, will make way. Some concern for Owen Watkin over there. And Billy Burns is going off, and he's running down the tunnel. I'm not sure if that's a blood or a HIA requirement, but it means Conor Murray will come in and play scrum half, or play out half, I should say.
Here is your mark.
Looks like his head goes onto
Green.
hip, I think.
Green, move back, please.
Takes the ball really well in the air. Ireland done a very good job at putting blockers in. You know, so
time back on.
The boys catching it cleanly in the air.
Alwyn Jones
Once.
claims the ball. It's there with Elliot D. Lloyd Williams gives him a smack on the backside and says, around the corner, please. Changes the angle. Williams, though, caught in possession, and Ireland go after Heffernan into the game. Where's the ball? It's there, and well dealt with by D. But the penalty. Wailed off their feet.
It's good sealing, that is. Elliot D straight over the top, sealing the ball off. Brilliant pressure though on Lloyd Williams. Wasn't able to get that ball away.
Post.
Well, Peter O'Mahony is the one who said we'll go for the post. Remember Jonathan Sexton, Ireland's captain,
No,
on the pitch,
captain,
so O'Mahony
say post.
as soon
No,
as
it's
that.
done.
You
Post,
think
he said
O'Mahony's
post.
part of that ruck, and he just breaks off last minute. Makes Lloyd Williams not think about kick, and has to run it. And that's where the turnovers come from.
So straight into the game in the unusual position of out half for Conor Murray, and he will take over the kicking duties as well. Not the first time he's placed kick for Ireland.
You don't see him kick too often, but
No.
he's pretty decent when he does.
'84th international cap for the Munster scrum half. And up go the flags. That's a decent effort. Straight from the bench, smile from Sexton. And then another 3 for Ireland, and they've stretched it out to 22 points to 9, but Williams just caught in possession there. Didn't have any protection.
No, he didn't, but Peter O'Mahony was hiding well. Hiding well in that ruck. Lloyd Williams didn't see him, and he's had a good game so far. Peter O'Mahony, really impressed with him. As you would, because he's a quality player.
Kenan Doris takes the ball into contact. Wales screaming that it was a maul. The referee says no, the tackle was complete. And Finlay Bealham. That's a good tackle from Samson Lee. Gibson Park will play James Ryan into it, and he crawls for an extra yard.
Use it. Use it.
Ty Byrne offers the protection that Gibson Park asks for. And this one into touch.
Giving Wales a lesson at the moment about how to clear your lines. Jameson Gibson Park been cool under the pressure today. Gibson Park, winning his 3rd cap, but 28 years old with plenty of experience.
And there's a new man for Wales, Callum Sheedy, 25 years of age.
Green on the line,
First
on the line.
international cap.
Great moment for him, great moment for
Green
his
on
family.
the line, please.
Been really impressed with him.
Please
He's
close
one
the
of
gap,
players
Red.
been rewarded for selection with form at Bristol. Difference at Bristol, though, he's had a pack that's been going forward.
Yeah, he's had a couple of centres outside him who have been making yards off everything that he's done. And Wales guilty of turning over possession again at the line out. Gibson Park high into the evening sky, and where's this one gonna bounce? It bounces into the arms of Wyn Jones. D. Good tackling in midfield from Ireland. James Ryan leading the charge, and there is Sheedy. It's gone to Lee Halfpenny. There's all sorts of traffic over there, and the ball bounces out. I think somehow Halfpenny managed to get a boot to that. And the referee sees Wales again at the breakdown, and they've just been guilty at core moments, at crucial moments, of giving away penalties at the breakdown, not finding their man in the line out, scrum not going well, and again it is fine outside of the line out. The others have been fine margins.
Just when you think they get a bit of continuity in their game, momentum, whatever you want to call it, it's just undone by either a mistake, a drop ball, a missed kick. They do well in the air initially to win that ball back, and
yeah, it's okay.
Lee Halfpenny thinks he's seen a bit of space and kicks it through, but the kick wasn't great. You give up possession, you give away a penalty, and you give away field possession.
And Ireland don't make touch.
Right in front.
With
Move
the
back.
penalty. Van der Fleer, by the way, has gone open side. Will Connors in to win his 3rd international cap. Really good work by Finlay Bealham.
Yeah, but they're the balls that Ireland been winning. They've been winning the 50-50s on the floor all game. Wales living off scraps.
advantage being played to Ireland as Conor Murray tries to pull the strings at outside half, wearing number 21. Ireland down to their third choice at out half. Sexton gone, Billy Burns gone, and now Conor Murray will look to close this
Back
game
here.
out.
Offside in the 10.
Offside. It's got very scrappy.
Yeah.
First half, Ireland had a bit of continuity.
On the
In
kick.
patches, Wales have had continuity in the second half, but the game has not had that flow that we might have hoped for as Keith Earls comes into the game for Ireland and Robbie Henshaw makes way. Earls back in an Ireland shirt to win his 85th international cap.
What a player Keith Earls is. You know, such a versatile player as well. Love watching him back. You know, I thought initially they may have put him in after the Jacob Stockdale pulled out last minute.
Change for Wales also. Aaron Wainwright in. Lupe Falatau makes way.
This penalty now that Conor Murray's going for is for offside. Be interesting to see how many penalties have been given for offside. You know, Wales have.
I roughly make it 4.
Yeah, they've quite a few times been offside, edging over that line. You know, there's a fine line between coming off the line quickly and being too eager.
He's been busy since he came off the bench. And hasn't he slotted in well? Another terrific kick from Conor Murray off the tee, and it just slides out Ireland to a lead that is beginning to feel is too big a gap for Wales to bridge. 25 points to 9.
It's like NFL special teams just coming on for the conversions.
Yeah, it's okay.
Full customer.
Little dink in the restart from Sheedy. And when Jones almost got to it,
Challenge backwards.
an attempt to regain possession immediately. Gibson Park takes it into contact. Ed Byrne up front forward's going to play scrum half. Beelum is there. Conor Murray will now slot into scrum half. And back to James Lowe, who sees some open territory back there. It's a good kick. It finds a bit of grass, although it bounces up kindly for Lee Halfpenny.
Stop! Red! 6! Thank you!
Well inside the final 10 minutes at the Aviva Stadium as James Lowe again pounds it downfield, and Halfpenny's going to have to deal with it.
Well, that's where you get with a quality player like James Lowe. He's not just a finisher. You know, there's a massive skill set to his game as well.
Conway decides to keep ball in hand, and it goes to Keenan, and then Keith Earls, and he changes direction and then runs into a big tackle. I think it was Jake Ball who made it. Ireland still don't have possession. Wainwright thought he could get his hands on it but can't. Finlay Beelum, Murray, and Will Connors sees his first real action. Gibson Park back in the opposite direction. This is a bit more like the Ireland of the first half that we saw. Earls goes to ground. Could get pinged for holding on here, and he will. Just turned, and Wales did a really good job.
Thank you for you.
I think if he turns on the inside there, they'll get the ball back.
I don't need to hug you.
Turns the wrong way.
Okay.
Ireland have been impressive with their attack. You know, it's not been one-dimensional. They've not gone the same way.
Okay.
They shifted back onto blind sides a lot.
Time off.
Keeps defences thinking.
And yet, Tom, only one tried to show for it.
Yeah, they just haven't been predictable, which is really good. And that's been pretty evident all the way through. You can see Watkin there rushing up, putting pressure on first.
You understand what I
Receiver just puts it back inside where the space is.
Thank you.
Yeah, but there we are. Keith turns on the inside there.
It's a free kick against you.
He doesn't give
in the low.
Jake Ball an opportunity to get that ball.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah. That's a long way to claw themselves back now, isn't it? 25-9.
Time back on.
6 minutes to go.
Not going to happen.
Sorry. Time off. Time off. Still time off.
Lewis Hughes. Shane Lewis Hughes is the man that they're waiting for. Well, Wales' next match in this competition next week against Georgia. It'll be interesting to see how the Georgians get on against England tomorrow. It's a massive task and a massive introduction into competition in the Northern Hemisphere for Georgia, who many people have been voting for and encouraging to be allowed into the Six Nations, particularly with Italy going so poorly. It's a big competition for them, but they're in a very, very difficult pool with Ireland, Wales and England.
It's a horrible pool. But yeah, you're right. They've been knocking on the door for a long time now. Good experience for them. Can't really see them doing that well. If you're judging by how they played against Scotland, I mean, what would be a game, wouldn't it? In the final weekend, if we see Italy versus Georgia, that's going to be the big one.
Sure, there will be a lot more than just 7th and 8th place in the Nations Cup at stake if that were to pan out that way. Alan Wynne-Jones shot down. That was Will Connors, and that was his specialty. Low and hard. And Ireland win the breakdown, and that from the momentum of the collision.
Just a huge hit now. If there were crowds here, they would have erupted at that.
Oh yeah.
Proper shocker of a tackle that.
Five minutes left in the game. And Wales, unfortunately, from their perspective, the white flag is beginning to be raised.
Oh, look, they fared better in the second half. That's for sure. They've had more ball, they've kept hold of it for longer periods, but still not good enough. And here's the tackle. Oh, look at that. Will Connors going low.
Caelan Doris
going high. Textbook.
Heffernan's throw to a shortened line out for Ireland. James Ryan takes the ball. Connors there and now in the arms of Heffernan. Caelan Doris joins at the back of Wales.
That's right.
Continue to try and defend. Gibson Park to Earls. Conor Murray. And then Andrew Conway. And screams from the Welsh defence that there was obstruction, but the referee and his officiating party let the game continue. Slower ball. Connors. Great pass inside. Gibson Park. Narrower the two sides. Terrific pass. And it's going to go to Lowe. And James Lowe held up just short of a try-on debut.
Good track, fine.
Gibson Park has got to rescue it. Heffernan can see his scrum half needs help. Wales flood the breakdown and stem the flow on that occasion.
Don't know how they didn't score that try. They did all the hard work. They set themselves up in a great position. I think it might have been Conway just gives it a little bit too early. Just a little bit. Another try gone begging for Ireland. They could have scored 2 or 3 more if you think back to the first half when Johnny Sexton goes through, throws the ball wide, and the short pass was on to Robbie Henshaw. And another mistake there.
Time off.
Created some great chances, Ireland, but not quite being as clinical as you would have hoped.
Ils se plaignent les joueurs de quelque chose.
It's not a bad problem to have, though. You're creating those chances. You're not finishing them. You'd rather.
That's not
you want to be a team that does create chances, because finishing them you can
if
put
there is
right.
something special, my TMO will review it.
But if you can't create
and
anything, then you're just going to struggle, and that's been Wales' issue
when you ask it.
all the way through this game. One stage I went through 15 phases in that first half, won a penalty for it. But Ireland just not committing any people to rucks or breakdowns, just flooding the field.
Well, the player of the match in this first match of the Autumn Nations Cup is decided. It's Caelan Doris, Ireland's number 8, and on the evidence of what you've seen, not your decision, Tom, but nonetheless I don't think you'd argue with it.
He's been brilliant. We spoke about CJ Stando and how key he is to Ireland with his carries, but Caelan Doris taking over that mantle with ease. Been fantastic today. In the short, in the wide, defensively, the breakdown.
On the game, 3 minutes.
Unbelievable player.
It'll be interesting to see what Andy Farrell does now in terms of selection. Ireland travelling to Twickenham next week, and that will be a belter, and on paper the game of the weekend in round 2, but that's for then. Right now, Wales
stepping
From
back,
here, it's just
stepping
about
back.
seeing it out to
The
not
green
conceding
stepping
any
back,
more
reason
points.
why, go on the
And
ground.
after that ball, but it's secured by the red shirts. Although they need
Use it
someone to
now.
deal with it, because Jake Ball is probably going to be the one that's going to kick it from the base of that breakdown. Lloyd Williams
Use it now.
is
Stop, stop.
reinstated
17.
as scrum half. And take it on for another phase. And in doing so, expose
Sealing
themselves
off.
to that potential.
Sail
And that, in a very small snapshot, has been a bit of the story of the game. Wales making bad decisions at crucial times.
It just looks like they don't know what they're doing at the moment. You know, you can see a clear attack and a clear plan from what Ireland are trying to do with the ball. With Wales, I couldn't tell you what they're trying to do. You know, we've not seen enough of it, but you know, are they trying to play a wide game by not getting players in the right positions? If that's the case, they've not got any go forward. You know, players look lost, especially when it comes to sort of 3 or 4 phases.
Time off.
You know, they're the times you need to
Please.
get a
Blood
couple of big
injury.
carries in, reset yourself, get back in your units, then you attack. But I'm not seeing any of that from Wales.
And
They look lost.
it's decision making at crucial times, because in that position you can understand it if you're up against the touchline, but there was no need, there was no material gain for taking it on through another phase with that level of fatigue in the body, and Ireland chomping at the bit to get one more shot at getting another try. It just needed to be cleared.
Well, you just got your scrum half there, just really, this is the first pass off the line-out. Great pick-up by Aaron Wainwright, mind.
He did unbelievably
off his toes,
well.
but the scrum half is trying to take it a little bit closer to the sideline to kick. But this is such a great delayed pass there. I think that's Conor Murray.
Here is the mark.
And Ireland look sharp off this. I'm just seeing some highlights of how good Ireland have been in attack. You know, it's that wrap-around ball that's really confused Wales.
Scratch!
You know, where it's gone into the centres, it's come back to the 9 or the 10. And then you've got a decoy outside. You either hit that short line or put it behind.
Guys, we are pre-engaged.
Back to your ball player.
Keep the distance, please.
You know, they've run that 3 or 4 times today and caused Wales problems every single time.
But after we are pre-engaged, so keep the distance. Okay, thanks.
Here we go, Sam. Come on, boy.
Scratch!
Into the final minute of the game.
Bye.
And the last chance for
Set.
Ireland to finish with a flourish, maybe. And they'll get the penalty.
Hinging.
As the scrum started at the beginning of the game, they shall finish a penalty against Wales
What do we do?
for the front row collapsing.
Scrum.
But we'll go again, say Ireland.
Hinging by the loser. Huh? No.
Let's go, Wales. Let's go, Wales. Let's go, Wales. Balance.
And this will be the last passage of play, you feel, as the clock is just a couple of seconds away from going red to signal the end of the game.
Set.
Ireland
Stay up, stay up.
looking for another try. Remember, points difference, tries scored, they could all come to count at the end of this game, or at the end of this tournament, I should say, in terms of deciding the final pool position. So there'll be no one giving up until
Keep
the
your elbow
final
up.
whistle goes on either side.
Yeah, but keep your elbow up. Long bind, okay? And straight. Yeah, well, come here. Okay.
Strike now. Watch a quick strike.
Here.
It's been an area that's
Okay,
struggled
that's the last
really.
one, guys. Make an effort, okay?
Struggled to get
Stay
a grip
up.
really of the scrums all
And
this
you
game.
will
It's been
elbow up.
messy.
Yes, Sam. Here we go, Wayne.
It's been disjointed. It's taken a lot of momentum really out of Ireland's attack.
Scratch.
Probably helped Wales a little bit just to slow the game down.
Bind.
That'd be a
Set.
massive cause for concern.
Okay, stay up. Elbow up. Stay up.
Third time of asking. Kayla Doris comes away, and Lowe is almost there. He is there. James Lowe gets a try on debut with the final play of the game. And that is one that will live long in his memory.
Look, I bet he's so pleased that Ireland went for the scrum and didn't just kick the ball out. He's deserved this. He's been busy all game. Had a great first half. Probably seen less of him in the second half. But that's a nice pickup from Caelan Doris. A great angle from James Lowe. so powerful, so strong, good leg drive. I don't know if you could pick it up on the mics there, but very happy with his first try.
Yeah. Conor Murray will set up the conversion, and the man of the match, Caelan Doris, feeds the try scorer James Lowe, who probably, if you were picking a second man of the match, he would have been the choice. Murray then. He's had 3 kicks at goal, they've all been successful, and that's the final action of the game. And it's a game that, in the end, the scoreboard reflects, in all fairness to both sides, what happened in the game. 2 tries in the end for Ireland, and they see it out. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and lots for Wales to do ahead of their match against Georgia next week. For Ireland, it's an opening night win. They will march on to Twickenham next week with something to build on and something to look forward to. James Lowe, well, that's what dream debuts are made of. At the Aviva Stadium, the final score is Ireland 32, Wales 9. Tom, the question is going to be for Wales, where do we go and what do we do from here? Because yes, they got something out of that second half in terms of their continuity and their accuracy, but there's going to be a lot of Welsh supporters wondering what's happened to my team.
Back to the drawing board. We looked a better team when we had a player like Hadley Parks at 12, someone that would just give you a bit of directness, someone that would get you over the game line, someone that would carry hard, try and get you on the front foot. We seem to be struggling with how we want to play the game. You know, it's easy to find a bit of form when you're playing like the old way with Warren Gatland, because it was quite simple game plan. It was get over the game line, you keep going the same way, you tire defences. But with Wayne Pivac, he's trying to play a different style, a style that he's used to playing at Llanelli Scarlets, which is trying to play in the wider channels, trying to be more creative, which I do agree with. But it's difficult to be creative when you've not got any form, you've not got any good set piece, you've not got any big ball carriers that put their hand up. You're making basic errors, and look, it's not all down to the coaches. You know, players have to take ownership as well. There's been some sloppy errors that you shouldn't be making at this level by any stretch of the imagination, and it's an example of a team that is just unbelievably low on confidence. You know, Georgia cannot come quick enough for them.
Well, that is for next week, as Wales will lick their wounds and sort themselves out, no doubt, ahead of that Georgian test. But you're right, it's about getting the basics right first, and you think that will be the message in training this week ahead of that match against Georgia next weekend. Remember, there's Italy against Scotland, England against Georgia still to come in this Autumn Nations Cup this weekend, and they're both available to you tomorrow. Unfortunately, the game between France and Fiji has fallen by the wayside, and the decision on how those points will be allocated in the competition will be made officially on Monday. Wales are clapped from the pitch by the Irish squad, and as I look down from the commentary position, you can see that the man of the match, Caelan Doris, is down there, and we're ready to hear from him.
Caelan, congratulations, you are the Guinness Player of the Match. Very strong performance for you, and nice to open this new competition with a win.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was good to bounce back after the away trip to Paris. The feeling after that was an opportunity missed, but we were glad to have this straight away to turn our focus to. The big takeaway from Paris was getting our individual prep done, having complete clarity in that so we can bring intent to it, and I think we were much better in that department today. I think we're much more clinical, we took our opportunities a lot better, so yeah, very pleased with the result.
And Ireland strong in the scrum and line out tonight.
Yeah, definitely another takeaway. Set piece dominance, and we provided that in the scrum and line out.
And good to get 80 minutes under your belt, given how competitive it is there in the back row.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to take every opportunity here at this level. Delighted now to get a few more minutes after my first cap, only 3 minutes. So I'm building on the minutes anyway.
And a huge one to come next week in Twickenham. You'd love to be involved in that, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Our focus is going to have to turn quickly to that. They're obviously a quality side. We came up short against them earlier on in the year, so we'll be going all guns raging.
I suppose just a shame to be man of the match in front of an empty stadium here. How strange did you find it tonight?
Yeah, adjusting slowly but surely. Definitely looking back to having our crowd back and giving us that extra buzz. But the main thing is to be playing, and hopefully everyone at home enjoyed that.
Well, congratulations, and your captain Johnny Sexton is going to step in now and hand you the trophy. And Johnny, if we can just get a quick word with you. Obviously a disappointing and frustrating night from your own point of view. How is the injury? Look like a hamstring, is it?
Yeah, just picked up a strain on that penalty, so frustrating. I was enjoying it out there. But most importantly, the team won, and we're very pleased to bounce back. The lad showed great character all week. To turn up, we knew it was going to be difficult there in a difficult phase, Wales, and to turn up the way we did. We could still be a bit more clinical, I think, in terms of taking some opportunities. But look, we did some things much better tonight, and we're building still. I think with the new coaches and with a lot of new personnel, it takes a while to get used to international rugby. So we're getting there slowly but surely.
In terms of the injury, do you have an idea yet how bad it is, or will it keep you out next week?
I don't know. I hopefully look after well over the next few days, and hopefully I can bounce back. It doesn't seem too serious, but we'll see what the scan says tomorrow.
And Billy Byrne's got an opportunity to come in and a longer run at it, I suppose, than he expected.
Yeah, I felt for Billy obviously going off with a knocked HIA. He seems okay after the game, thankfully, and he was doing really well. And then Connor came on and he finally found his natural position. I think he needs to probably stay there now, I think.
He might give you a run for your money there. Just a word on your new or your Leinster teammates and the new faces today. Some impressive performances, and James Lowe getting in for that try at the end.
Yeah, delighted for James to get the score at the end. Look, I think I'm very happy for the whole squad. When you get questioned like we have over the last couple of weeks, it shows character to bounce back, and it shows what type of people we are. We're very proud to play for this country, and sometimes when you don't perform as well as you like, it doesn't come across. But you could see it out there how much it meant to us, and that's what we're most proud of.
Okay, thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.
Jonathan Sexton is pretty
Rolling on this. Yeah, we're happy with the recording. Happy to go to
Alan, obviously not the result you wanted. Another night of disappointment and frustration for you. Just give us your assessment.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are asking for reaction. The result, reaction from the last couple of games, I think it was there in majority of the game with the effort and the emotion we showed. I think we had a decent 40 either side of the half, but in credit to Ireland, they did the damage in the first 20 and last 20 in the way they started and the way they finished.
Problems for you with scrum time tonight?
Yeah, very much so. I think the inconsistency at set piece time didn't really give our backs much of a platform. We've been better in parts of the previous two games, but have to shore that up going forward.
What will this do now? I mean, it's your record 150th Test cap. You've seen it all, been there. Is there very much a deflated air in the squad? Or we hear talk of unrest? What's the mood in the camp?
Well, it's funny. It's amazing what people say on the outside. Like I say, I'm proud of the effort and the endeavour that we're showing. We did have a good training week, but it just goes to show that training doesn't really amount to much on the 80 unless you put it out there. But I've been through these periods before. Hopefully I get another opportunity at some point. But we've got a large squad with a lot of guys chomping at the bit. I'm sure there'll be changes in the next couple of games.
Yeah, you've got Georgia up next week at Parky Scarlet, and a chance to mix things up, I suppose.
Yeah, well, you obviously have to ask Wayne about selection, but I'm sure with the results we've had and the way we're going, there'll be a couple of guys vying for opportunities.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Alan. Thanks.
What would you